Yeah, you do. Well, how about I'll send you one. I'll send you one, Mike. Though I'll send you one. I think I got an extra one.
Uh,
All right, here we go. We're on the Sports Hungry Podcast, Battleground, but
yeah.
this is a different segment. You got your boy Perno Bills, Joshua Darns, and we open up the segment called the Coaches Circle. Or was it Coaches Table?
Coach's
I
circle,
don't know which
coach's
one's
table.
Coaches Circle. Okay, it's a
We'll vibe
round
with it. See how it roll.
vibe with it. But yes, Martes Will. He is a alum of the University of West Florida, right? From Jackson,
Yeah.
Alabama, correct?
Yes, sir.
Jackson, Alabama.
Yes,
Okay, okay,
sir.
okay. And he is welcoming us on because he's had a crazy start to high school coaching, I would say, for anybody. And so, welcome to the show. Thank you for being number one.
Thank y'all for having me.
First round pick. What it is?
Hey,
Hey, what a jersey at? I need the one on the front.
hey,
Yeah, you gotta get one.
I got. You know what? If you send me your address, man, I'll send you some sports hungry gear.
Oh, say
All right, here we
less.
go. Oh yeah, oh yeah. All right, here we go. So, where are you currently at right now? What high school are you currently working at?
So I actually just moved back to Bama. I took a head coaching job at the middle school at Hillcrest Middle. So I'll still be with the high school on Friday nights and travel with them and stuff. But I took the head job at the middle school though.
Ah, guys. So
Dang, that
is
he
there?
just jumping in head positions. He ain't even saying I don't do assistant.
He
I'm
don't
a
even know.
head.
I don't do.
HNIC
I don't.
boy.
I don't. I don't do OC. I don't know what DC
Uh,
look like. I'm only a head coach.
that's tough though. That's what's up, man. So
Yeah,
I mean, you play. I know you done played for years and years. So and you done played in the college level. So what really made you wanna like bite down and be a coach in it? Because playing and being around it is one thing. Actually, coaching, totally
yeah.
different. Totally
So
different.
for
Like
me,
I
for me, I knew one day I wouldn't be able to play anymore. And I always said like after I was done playing, I wanted to do something where I could still be around the game. And I found like I have a passion and love for working with kids. So the best way to keep me around the game and working with kids, like I became a teacher, and I know I wanted to coach. Like growing up, like one of my football coaches had probably the biggest impact on my life. So he really inspired me to get into coaching for one, and then I looked at like my high school head coach, how successful he was, and like to be honest, he the first head coach I know from high school that was making six figures. So I looked at that. I was just like, man, if I can like build up my resume to that point and then be able to do like something I love doing, I'm like, shoot, I'm set.
facts, bro. No, I feel that.
You say he was the first coach you saw that made six figures? I didn't know
Yeah,
coaches could make that.
I think he may have like five or six football state championships. He got a few in baseball. So
Oh, he
he in the
awarded.
Oh
Alabama
yeah,
Sports Hall of Fame. His name Danny Powell. But he in the
Oh,
Alabama
I've
Sports
heard
Hall
him.
of Fame.
I heard
Yeah.
Danny Powell.
Yeah, I say he coached Salmon Coast when Salmon Coast was in high school.
Oh
oh,
okay.
dang! Shout out to
Dang.
Coach
Yeah.
Powell.
Alright.
You over here winning games, winning championships.
Yeah, had to take
So,
coach.
was there a dramatic change when you left from being a player to going to becoming a coach? Was there like a immediate what is this? How do I make this work for me now?
Yeah, and looking back, like coaching now, it makes me reflect on like my time playing because I feel like I took a lot of it for granted. Like coaching now, like I know, in order to prepare for a game, I gotta watch film. Like it's certain stuff that I gotta do to prepare myself. And, like as a player, I was like, okay, I was just like knew the plays, I knew what they might run, so I'm just out there playing and just going off God given talent. But like the coaching side of it, you really gotta understand like schemes, strategies, and you really gotta be able to like slow the game down and break it down to like perfection. So it was like a I ain't gonna say it was a hard transition, but like it was a great learning experience from going from playing to actually coaching because like as a coach, you can't go out there and just call plays. Like you gotta really know what's going on. You gonna make yourself look real bad. So it definitely made me dive deep into football or trying to understand it.
Feel that because I just this past year, outside of my first year teaching, and then I decided to step in. My homies asked me to help coach a little baseball team with them, and I had a certain realization of how I play. I can't coach that
Mm-hmm.
because especially it depends. Well, like my question gonna be because I was teaching like kids, like these were 6, 7, 8 year olds. So it's like legit teaching them how to play and what this game is. How as you were a player and you've been to a college. That's you at the college. I feel like once you get to NFL with the college, you are one of the percenters that people just ain't touching. So it's just like, how do you? I ain't gonna say dumb it down, but how do you find yourself interpreting the game to the kid?
So sometimes I do find myself using complex terminologies and stuff that they don't understand, and then you be like,
Yeah,
okay, he probably don't know what this means, so you got to put in like terms that they can relate to. It was like the other day I was telling a kid, he's an inside linebacker, and the way I was taught and the way I played it, you read 3 to 2 to 1. You go running back, slot to outside receiver, 3 to 2 to 1. But numerically in his head, he couldn't get that. So it's going
yeah,
from okay, and it's teach to me in my mind. I'm teaching him simple out progression, of how
yeah,
to get to his drop, but he don't understand like okay, 3 is the running back, 2 is the slot, 1 is the outside receiver. So you kind of have to use like visuals with them. You have to use like the simplest terms ever. Even with like names of plays, you got to shorten everything for them because some of them you'll coach have short attention spans. Some of them not really gonna remember,
yeah.
the smallest thing. So it's just like with teaching. Like every kid don't learn the same. So when you teach and when you coach, you have to be on the mindset of all of these kids don't learn the same. All of these kids not gonna get it at one time. So you have to come up with different strategies. You have to come up with like different ways and techniques just to teach one thing. Like
Right.
the exact same point. You just got to come up with different ways or different like terminologies and understanding just to teach basic things to you. Because what we think is basic is like a whole different world for them.
That's definitely true. Because I have being being a teacher and then just this slight experience of coaching. I was like, my respect for these positions just went skyrocketed. Because it's to people who do this regularly, like y'all really are y'all are bar none
And
some of the
you,
best people in the world.
you are the title of a coach and a teacher, but is way more titles under that. Because some
Way more
days you're gonna
titles
have to
under
be a
that.
dad, some days you're gonna have to be a nurturer. It's like it's so many other names that fall under just them two titles.
That's real. That's so true.
In your time so far, how have you taken some of the memorable moments that you've done in high school, college, and been able to translate that over to you as a coach yourself? Like, how are you able to take some of those moments and kind of relay that over to your players or to the extra staff who probably never even played football? Because I know there's some coaches who haven't played, but they know the X's and O's.
Yeah. So for me, I feel like I try to, like I said, I didn't play at a high level of college. I done did a lot of accolades in high school. I done seen a lot of football. So for me, I feel like if I don't, share the little knowledge of football I do have with them, like I'm kind of shortchanging them. So, like, is I think the biggest thing that I take is like I played college ball. I know what it takes to get there. So one thing I always tell my kids, like, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna shortchange you. I'm gonna be honest with you. So one of the biggest things is when I talk to them, I speak to them in a way of if you say you want to be here, these are just the steps that you need to take. So you can't say you want to be a college athlete and you fail in classes. You late all the time. You miss workouts. I don't feel like practicing today, so I don't show up. So it's taking my personal experience and trying to show them how to get there, telling them how to get there, trying to make sure they doing everything that they possibly could be doing to get themselves there. Because a lot of times, you'll realize in the coaching world some coaches just take their athletes, and I don't want to say use them, but they just use them. And I don't care that your grades are bad. I'm gonna do enough to just keep you eligible, so you can win games for me.
Mm-hmm.
And as a coach, you shortchanging that kid because this kid got enough talent to play D1 ball, but you allow him to give you JUCO effort in the classroom. And a kid that should be playing D1 now he's at a prep school, or now he's having to do extra stuff just to get to where he already should be. If only you would have took the time out to tell him this stuff in the beginning. So I mean, the biggest thing we can take from our careers and the level of football and stuff we played is to take all of that knowledge and pass it off to them and try to get them to where we've already been.
That's definitely real. Like me and Pernell done talked about this. Excuse me. Me and Pernell talked about this, and I done said it for years. Just watching even the league, like Mike Tomlin said it. It's like this is my job to coach you, and like you said,
Hmm.
coaches wear 10 million different titles. At the end of the day, my main goal as your coach is to teach you how to play this game. Because if I teach you how
Hmm.
to play this game, that's the less I got to coach you. Like I told this to my kids when I was in the classroom. I said, if you actually use your brain, you will think less. And it's like it's just it's muscle memory. The more you know this stuff, the less you got to think about it, and you just do. So as of a coach, if you're not doing your job, if you're not teaching, two, if you it's not you can call it nurturing all you want to, but if you're not there to nurture your kids and show them how to do this, not just football, but football teaches you how to do so much in life, how to create a friends, how to build a relationship, discipline, uh, just how to go about things in the right way. And so that I feel like that is huge. So you done been at this point for a little minute now. But go back to that first job you had. What was your first experience in coaching, and what was that like? And then leading up into now, how has it been?
So I'm gonna skip my first coaching job because I actually had took a right out of college. I took a head coaching middle school job in Greensboro, and it just didn't pan out at all. We didn't get to play the season. That was right around COVID time, so it
Uh,
was a
mm,
little hectic. But I'll say I'll use PHS as like my first coaching year. Uh,
The
but
alum
man,
today.
yeah.
But I tell them, looking back at my time on PHS, I'm grateful for it. Even though we didn't win a lot on the scoreboards, it taught me so much about coaching. I'll say it taught me a lot of what not to do as a coach. It taught me a lot of what to do as a coach. It prepared me to deal with different type of kids. Because I mean, working at PHS, I dealt with a variety of kids. I mean, athletic kids. I've
Yeah.
seen some of the best athletes that had, some of the worst attitudes. So it prepared me a lot through X's and O's tremendously because that was at the point I realized, okay, if you gonna be a DC and call a game or you gonna teach this guy how to read this, you gotta know what's going on. So I gotta know if they come out in 3-by-1 inside the 20-yard line, what they gonna run. So it literally it made me become a coach. It made me become a student of the game. It made me learn so that I could coach and teach other people. As a coach, you can't teach me nothing that you don't know. So if as a coach, if all you doing is teaching plays, I'm gonna say you failing. Because if you teaching plays and not teaching why we running this or the scheme of this or why you block down here, why you pull here, you just out there really calling little league ball if we been honest. So my time at PHS, man, I'm very grateful for it. Like I said, I went through the DC road. My first year there, I did linebackers. My second year, I was a DC, and then midway through the season, I had to step up and be the head coach, and it taught me a lot. Outside of X's and O's too, as far as like how a program should be ran. And it's a lot, man. When you really dive into coaching, it's a lot, a whole lot.
I ain't gonna lie. I saw that headline and I said, "Hold up, that Ted,
Yep.
what, what, what I said, what happened? Hey, I was flabbergasted. What, how that? I don't even know how much you could talk about it. Like,
How
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 did that even?
how did how did that make you feel? Like what was going through your head when they said, "Hey, you you the guy"?
So
And what
when it
was
first,
this JV or varsity?
this was varsity. Yeah, this was varsity. So
Dang.
when it first happened, I kind of I was in my feelings about it because and I voiced my concerns to the previous head coach. Me and him still talk all the time. But I told him it was a thing of, you brought me here. I'm only here because of you. I was a man of my word because I was going to leave the year before. And I told him I would come back again to help him out. And I told him, I'm like, man, I kind of feel like a slap in my face because I only stayed around because I was a man of my word. And you decide to, step away from it. So when it first was brought upon me, man, I was kind of in my feelings about it. I didn't really know how to feel because I knew like what I was inheriting. I knew like how bad it was. I knew how bad of a look it was. Like program was in shambles. And I remember calling my dad and I was talking to him about it and I was like, man, I was in my feelings. And I remember being on Walmart vividly. I called my dad, and one of the things he told me, he said, man, this didn't catch God by surprise. And when he told me that, like, I instantly started to get over it because I was like, man, I was like, how am I going to be in my feelings? And, this was probably already destined. And like I said, stepping into that role kind of, showed me another side of coaching. It put me in a bigger responsibility. And like I said, I'm grateful for it. But man, at first I was just like, sheesh, here we go. Like I just inherited all of this and it ain't good at all. But man, when he told me, he was like, man, this didn't catch God by surprise. Everything just kind of like turned around in the way I thought about it. And it went from, why me to, why not me?
Yeah, I think we all were kind of like when we saw the news, immediately was like, hey, you got this. you, it's you, you.
Nah, facts. I was like, I forgot he was coaching it, and then second, I was just like, what? How he just became head coach? Like, what happened? Because honestly, I was in the gym when I saw it, and I was just like, I can't even read the story right now, and I'm just like, dang, Jit, the head coach, like, like you said, you just in that moment. Like, how did the kids take that?
Man, at first I was kind of at first I knew a lot of the kids loved me and stuff, but I also knew they loved Tyson too, who was the head coach. So I didn't really know how it would go or how they would feel, but man, when we had the meeting and they let the kids know that he was stepping down and that I was stepping into the role, like all the kids was like excited about it. So I was just like, man, shoot, let's go. Like at this point, they excited. We can't change it. Let's roll with it. And I think we kind of saw like a different spark in them. We tried to, like I said, we tried to turn it around. We saw like a different spark in them, and we went from the next game we played Gulf Reed. Like we got out there. It was the first time we had scored all year. I told him, I was like, man, we could turn the score. Before the game, I said, man, we could turn the scoreboard off. I don't really care what the scoreboard says. So as long as y'all go out here and y'all fight for 4 quarters, I'm saying that's all I'm asking y'all to do. Just go out there and give your best for 4 quarters. And man, first game I could say all season they fought 4 quarters long. After the game, we didn't have many heads hanging. And I couldn't be mad at that. I was very proud of the efforts. Yes, we had a lot of stuff we could have cleaned up. We had too many turnovers, fumbling before halftime. We kneeling the ball on the center. But I mean, they effort and attitude, kind of gave me, I would say, hope and kind of made me feel, better about the situation. Because at that point, I mean, it wasn't about me no more. It was about the kids. So I mean, I
Yeah,
can't sulk in pity. We got to figure out how to put these kids in the best position to win.
that's a hell of a situation, man. I was definitely happy. Like you was at the crib or you was at my home. I was like, yeah, cool. They got somebody there. But then I saw the situation. I was just like, I know what football is like in this city and what it used to be up until now. I was like, dang, what he got the chance to do right there.
Yeah, man. That was one of the things I look at, man. And if I say in my time that if PHS just had, and man, hats off to the new coach, man, Coach McKinnon, because he brought in some guys. They brought in a lot of resources, and and the Project Pride that they have there now. So, I'm actually excited to see where the program goes from here, because they got a lot of positive that's going on within the program now, as far as like the funds being brought in. They get new equipment, new uniforms. They getting like so much stuff in. The
Like a
kids
new brand.
buying into his progress. So man, my hat's off to him. But one of the things I looked at, and I said while we was, in control, I was just like, man, I feel like we don't have the resources that all these other schools have. And I felt
Yeah,
like it was kind of set up to fail, because if you look at, like I said, the school choice, man, like all the athletes that are at these other schools are zoned to go to PHS. But they're zoned for PHS and they going to Pine Forest, Catholic, Escambia, out at Tate. They going to all these schools and they zone to go to
hmm
PHS. So if you take all these athletes that's at these other schools being productive and put them at the school they zone for, I really don't think any school in the city would be able to play with PHS.
that's how it
That's
used
my
to be,
personal
man.
opinion.
That's hey, look here, bro. When I was in school, I felt like I ain't gonna poo poo on this last generation, but when I was in school and before then, football was different. Like you couldn't wait to see Pine Forest and PHS. Like they legit had us coming in on separate gates because the beforehand, even before the game, was finna get stupid. And then you had programs like Woodham before they closed down, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But all that football history just I ain't gonna say it watered down, but to some of the older generations, it low key feel like that. And this zoning situation is kind of linked towards that, and I feel like that could definitely hurt not just Pensacola, but maybe in some other counties and states as well if they have them same similar kind of rules.
Yeah.
What have you noticed as a coach in that time in the high school ranks that is different about the students or the players who do play compared to your time as a student athlete? Is their mentality different? Do they
Oh
love the
man.
game the same, or is it just a complete differently group or generation?
Man, it's a I don't want to say it's just a completely different generation. That's why and I don't just want to put it off on the area, but it's kind of like I don't know if it's just the group there, but the biggest difference is, man, had kids that didn't want to work out, would miss workouts, didn't care nothing about working out. And we had kids when we played, man, I was squatting 600. I had a receiver that was squatting 500. Like, we worked out at the school. We would be at my crib, bro, pulling stuff across the yard. Like, we loved it. And one of the biggest things, kids didn't want to work out. And I think that one of the biggest things, as far as like the kids we had and the ones we played, one of the things we always saw was the kids we played were a lot stronger. And I always said for our kids, man, it's hard to line up and go four full quarters with somebody you know is a lot stronger and a lot more dominant than you. And another thing is effort and attitudes, man. Like, we would have starting DBs that would be dead last running behind the dang on O line. So it's just like at that point, man, that ain't talent. That's lack of effort. You know, discipline, like talking back, cussing out coaches, like that was stuff you never seen when we played. So it's just like it makes it hard to coach kids that gonna challenge everything you say or argue back and forth with you like you one of them, or cuss you out, or walk off the field, or don't want to work out, come to practice high. Like it's stuff like that kids that really want to win don't do.
Facts.
So I would say it's definitely a drop off in the generations. I would say, like, kids ain't as tough as when we was playing either. Like, it's like I said, you learn to adapt as a coach. You learn to adapt to the times and stuff, and you can see football is evolving as a whole. And I said, if you look at football now, you ain't got a lot of teams that just line up and run the ball downhill no more. Everybody going to
No.
spread systems. Everybody going to air raid. So football ain't as physical as it used to be. But again, football as a whole is evolving. So look at pace for instance. Pace line up and they gonna run the ball down your throat the whole game. You either gonna have somebody on
Okay.
the other side of that ball that's tough enough that can go the distance, or Pace gonna beat the absolute hell out of you because you gonna get tired of this guy running lead at you almost every play. You gonna get tired of
Everything.
quarterback power. So it's like the level of physicality varies tremendously across programs.
That hurts my heart that Pace is still running that same offense. I
If
saw
it
that
ain't
same
broke, don't
offense.
fix it.
Hey, look,
What
that
offense did he
and
run?
like you
Is it
said, it
triple option?
changed. No, he literally, you not hear him just say quarterback power.
Yeah,
Like when
Pace
I
running
was in
quarterback
school,
power straight at you,
they
and he
kicker
walks
was
in
Martez
untouched.
size. When we
He
was in
walks in
school,
untouched.
Pace kicker was Martez size, bro.
God,
They
oh.
running jet sweep. The man ain't getting touched. They running quarterback power. They running GT counter. They running it down your throat.
But it's just like he said, this generation, you ain't got too many downhill thumpers that's just gonna come through and rock. These kids, they want to play corner, they want to play finesse, they want to play receiver. Ain't too much physical, and plus you can see it. A lot of these kids, you get one of these big jokers here and there, but a lot of this generation are a little smaller than what we
Smaller,
was,
They're
and
not.
so
smaller.
They're,
when you see these older ones now, some of them get it bigger.
they're not in the weight
This,
room the same. They're not in the weight room the same way. They're not eating the same way.
Yeah.
Uh, I
mm-mm.
can definitely attest to that because even my high school back in Jacksonville, we look. It could be Coach G. Well, look, it could be 3rd and 42. We're gonna run the ball. Triple option.
That boy need to be fired.
Hey, look. Hey, look. But here's the thing, though, right? Our old line, man. I'll tell you now, bro. Our old line was like, I mean, most of them were like either 6'3" or more, and all of them hitting about at least 280, 300. And they look. You said running behind the lineman when it came down to running, right? We had this thing called 240s where you had to run from the back of the end zone to the other side and back in time here. Every position group had their own little time. But offensive and D linemen almost looked like they were running backs. How quick they were going down and back. But I mean, I agree with you when it comes down to it. The physicality, every school that came to play our high school, they knew you got 4 quarters of this big group coming at you, and you got a running back. That 3rd and 42 might look like, man, why y'all running the ball? We'll get it. We'll get it. Mess around, we'll get it.
I ain't gonna
so
lie. I just want to know how y'all get to 30 42.
Oh, look, you got a holding call. You got holding. You got it might be a push in the back. It might be all these other things that lead up to it. But then you get that. All right, let's do it one more time. Out of there.
that's
Well, Georgia
crazy.
Tech loved our school.
So,
They loved it. Oh my gosh.
oh,
I
I bet.
bet. What running back y'all sitting us this year?
Ain't it? Running back. What's your guard's name? Is he ready to come right now?
He
What's time right
he know
now?
how to pull already. Okay.
Has teaching this generation been like one of the hardest parts of being a coach? Because honestly, I even helped my homie coach girl flag football team, and I said frankly, I would rather coach girls than I would rather coach some of these dudes. Cause hey, look here, blood. We was in practice. These girls went head up without pads on, and she got back up. Let's go. I was like, oh yeah, let's go. These
That's
girls are
fine, boy. I did flag football for 2 years. Them attitudes. Oh my god.
they
Oh
they
my
they
god.
something serious, but when it comes down to playing, they ready. They be ready to
Oh yeah, they
play,
play.
and
They
I love
aggressive.
it.
Like they are definitely aggressive. Like they'll go out there and try to tackle a dude. But
Yeah,
boy, when they mad, when one mad, the whole team is mad.
yeah. You ain't lying now, bro. You ain't lying. But
I think it goes back to them just being interested in a sport that it previously was not
Close out.
gifted to them. Yeah, it was closed out for them. So now they
Yeah,
like we can play the sport that they said we couldn't play, and they actually balling. While with guys, I mean, let's see, when you have a son, your first thing if you play football is like, look, I want you to play football. I want you to play
uh,
basketball. And so as you get older, you get that choice of do you want to play or not. You might continue to play just because of family reasons, but you may not be like all the way into it like you used to be, like you should be in order to get to that next level.
that's true.
So
That's true.
what's been that real tough spot for you since you've been coaching?
I'll say, man, believe it or not, I would say the hardest part of teaching and coaching is not the kids. I would say it's the parents. If we be
You ain't
honest,
lying. You ain't lying.
the parents to me makes it very hard on coaches and teachers, and it's because the number one thing you'll hear as a parent is my child don't do that at home. And the stuff that they do at school and the attitude that they give you at practice and stuff, it don't start at school. It don't start at practice. It still starts at home. But it's one thing when you tell the parent this kid is doing this and they in denial. So at that point, that means you upholding them in their wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard to coach a kid that that's out here blatantly running the wrong play. I'm getting in his butt, and you mad at me for doing my job when he knows the play, but he decided that he wanted to run something different that completely screwed my scheme. Like for instance, I had a player last week at a 7-on-7. I called a play called Nevada. Nevada, you got the outside receiver has a 5 yard in. The slot receiver has a corner route. So the team I was playing, I noticed they was in a cover three. As long as I sat in doubles, they would go cover three. So I motioned my back out and they checked the cover two. So I set my back on the vertical up the seam, and he was gonna pull the safety. The corner route was wide open.
Mm-hmm.
So called the play, motion out, and my receiver that was supposed to run the end decides I've been beating my man every play. I'm gonna run a vertical. Knows what he's supposed to do. Blatantly decides to run a vertical. What if he run his vertical into? The exact same place we trying to throw the corner out that's wide open if he just run his route. So that happens. I blow up on him. I get in his butt or whatever, but they feel some type of way that I'm fussing at.
Mm-hmm.
And he knew he was wrong. He knew he was dead wrong. But when you got parents in your ear behind you, yelling, put my son in, you should be playing such and such, and yelling at your quarterback and doing certain stuff, in a game setting, that's hard to coach with. Like it's hard to tune out somebody that's not even 5 yards behind you, telling you everything you done wrong, but don't even have the decency to come out and watch their child at practice. Or parents will call up to the school and say, my child doing such and such, or why you do such and such, but won't come up to the school and simply check on their grades.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you can blame the kids, yes, but kids can only do what they're allowed to do. They only do what they can get away with.
Indeed.
So it ain't the kids, it's these parents.
They definitely make it hard. I done seen something go stupid. I'm just why you acting like this? I see where your kid get it from, because you just completely wilding out here, and it's completely unnecessary.
Mm-hmm.
Completely unnecessary
I say they had to learn it from somewhere, and they don't just pick it up at school.
at all. Now
Parents be
I
so
can
shocked.
say I have seen some of these kids. They act totally different when they get around that certain friend, but over and all, it's definitely what they say. You permit what you promote, and well, if you let them just free willy, they gonna do it. And so
Mm-hmm.
it's definitely hard to check this generation, because they feel like they know it all.
Oh yeah,
They're not coachable.
that's
Yep.
the
A
biggest
lot of them are
thing.
not.
And coachable, doesn't just mean just being on the field. It's like you said, other aspects of your life will be impacted by what you do on this field. Whether you get on in the game, what you do in practice, what you do in classroom, you know, you coming here following the rules and regulations that we have is going to help you out in any other aspect or any other industry that you decide to pursue if you do not want to go continue on with with the sport. But you always want to be coachable, be willing to learn, and also take criticism, and don't always look for your parent to save you and back you every time something don't go your way. That's a little temper tantrum, and
Hmm.
so that is you see that a lot with a lot of kids, and they have a very tough time with answering to authority just because the authority figure at their house don't care if they answer to them or not.
And man, we ain't gonna kill too much more of your time. I do got a couple more things got to get out of here though. So cause this one right here, this one was huge for me. How do you balance? Cause you said you was teaching at one point and coaching. That's where I found myself at. So
Yeah,
how do you balance your professional life now that you are the actual coach with your personal life too? Because a lot of people don't know coaching. It entails a lot.
man. It's honestly, I ain't gonna lie. It's a fine line of balance. Cause if we been honest, I'll tell people this summer flew by. I really ain't got much rest this summer, but coaching has really took my whole summer. If we been honest, and as a coach, off top, it's a certain time of the year that you just gonna be completely unavailable. It's a certain time of the year you're not gonna be able to do certain stuff. It's that certain time of the year, just like everything else is irrelevant because like you got to coach. So football, I know once June hit, from June to December, I know I don't have much time to do, the fun stuff per se, because all of his football planning, all the coaching conventions, meetings, teaching, all of that. Now around springtime, if I'm not coaching anything, that's when you can, let your hair down a little bit. You can, go see family. You can do different stuff. But for the most part, with coaching, man, it's a tough balance, and I'll say it's more give than take with coaching, because a lot of the stuff that you want to do, you can't do. Like in October, you can't go to every homecoming you want to go to because you got to coach. Um, no, one of the things from like playing, I haven't got to do it yet with coaching, but when I was playing football, with my college coaches, once you hit playoffs, they don't get to, go out of town or go visit family for Thanksgiving. They there doing their job. Your job is to
Oh
coach.
yeah.
So it's like so much of your family time, which I don't have kids now, but for the coaches that do have kids and stuff, man, so much of their time is dedicated to raising other people's kids versus raising their own, because they spend more time with other people's kids than they do at home. And especially being a teacher, like you'll leave home 6, 7 o'clock in the morning going to work, and most times you won't make it back home to 7, 8 o'clock in the evening. And some schools are later than that. So it's
Hmm.
coaching. It's a lot of time. It's a lot of time preparation, and it's a lot of give.
So after having your time or whatnot, and as a coach or whatnot, so far, how do you stay motivated when things don't go the route that you want it to go?
I won't say it's easy to be motivated when things don't go your way, but as a coach, you can't think about yourself. You always have to put the best interests of the kids at the forefront, because at the end of the day, like, you have one job. Your one job is to develop young men and win games. So you can't really look at your own self in that instance. You gotta surpass yourself in everything that you do, everything that you plan. It all has to revolve around putting your team, putting your kids and your other coaches in the best position possible. You can't be selfish as a coach. There isn't much room to be selfish as a coach because you have way too many people depending on your leadership. You have way too many people depending on your input, trusting your judgment. So it's you ain't got much time to think about you. Is 40, 50, 60 other kids that's depending on you. So that's who you got to think of.
I was gonna say because I feel like, especially, I feel like it can definitely lend into coaching because when I thought about it as a teacher, you'd be in the classroom. I got I got 20 kids in the class. I got half the class with their head down. I got 20 that's attentive, but then I got them five who are really locked in. And I know in sports there's a lot more kids, but I feel like you kind of just you got to have that same mentality that just because them five over there can't seem to get right, you still got that team that
Mm-hmm.
you gotta click into.
Yeah, you. Though I say a huge thing is planning. Like you realize with some kids, um, kids I know like kids these days have ADHD way worse, and you realize way more kids have it. So you almost have to plan. Well, ain't no almost. You have to plan every single minute, like on a
Yeah,
practice schedule that's interactive. Because if not, like these kids, you'll have one over there climbing the fence, you'll have one over there flipping the water cooler, you'll have the 11 over here that you run to play with, and you'll have little Johnny out there chasing a big truck. Like, their attention spans are not that long. so,
uh,
so man, you really have to, man, you have to really utilize your time and make sure that about every minute on your script is like filled with something productive that they gonna have to be doing. A lot of times, you still gonna get them two or three that even though you doing
man.
something, still just out of the
You know the crazy part of them. The crazy part about it is that them two or three that's out of there usually be some of the best ones,
the best athletes. Man,
the best athletes, the best student, man.
I had one at PHS, right? And you're in Pensacola, right? You got the airplanes. The helicopter by
Oh
PHS
yeah.
is gonna fly all the time. You got the
Oh,
airplane. And man, he got ADHD probably worse than anybody I've ever met in my life. So 1 minute, you explain as long as you're talking to him, like you about 70, you win 75% of the battle as long as you talking to him. If you just talking directly to the group and not him, man, we be explaining something, and he would turn it all the way back around. Say it'd be like an airplane flying. He would turn it all the way around and like stare at the airplane until it's just like gone. And I would just have to stop and be like, okay, look at the airplane. Airplane leave. Like, all right, you paying attention now? They're like, it don't matter what you was doing. If he seen the airplane, like his attention span was just gone. You got some kids that no matter what you do, that
they gone.
ADHD just gonna win.
It sure be winning, bro. But I've seen it going in a way I just be like, all right, man, go ahead, go, go. Sometimes you don't be wanting to let them do their thing because it can backfire so quick.
Yeah,
Overall, you kind of just gotta let them.
yeah. Some of them you just know you ain't gonna win that battle in the moment, so just let them
Yeah,
go and get it out.
facts,
But when
man,
he gets
facts.
back, he good.
Yeah, like, as long as that plane go, he good. That plane fly.
So what's the end goal about coaching? Like where are you trying to head to? What level do you want to get to?
I used to say that I wanted to coach, some level of college, but being around it and stuff, I kind of drew away from it. I actually could have been in the college coaching if I wanted to, but I kind of just stepped away from wanting to coach. I'll say my end goal with coaching, I'm actually kind of on the fence right now. I know I want to, in a few years, I know I want to throw my name in a hat for another head coaching job at a high school. But I also know I want to get into like education administration, so I want to get into like the principal world. So I don't know if with like being a principal, I'd be able to coach. I'll say if not, I'll probably, still be around it. But I do, before I step into, the admin world, I do want to take another head coaching job for a high school. I want to win a state championship. I want to win a ring as a coach. So
Yeah, facts.
I know that's like a goal of mine, is to be able to say, I revitalized the program and, took them to state championship and won. So it's
You want to do that in Bama, or you want to do that in Florida?
I'll do it in New Zealand if I get the job.
He said it don't
But
matter.
man, it
That's
don't
funny.
matter, man. Anywhere I can get a solid opportunity and lead a group of kids to the state championship, I'll do it.
You had a prototype. 'Cause I don't know if he was still the principal there, but Mr. Williams. He started off as a David
Yeah,
Williams. He started
yeah,
off as
he's
a
at the
basketball
board
coach.
now.
Yeah, he in the board
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
Before he was a principal at our school, he was a coach and a teacher before then. I feel like coaching, especially if you win, that puts your name out there in a different
Oh
way
yeah.
that being a teacher and just like a low level administrator really does. Even though you are in that scene, but you start winning as a coach, and people around the city gonna be like, "Hmm, who that is? What you doing?" Like
I was
especially like you
amazed.
said, if you revitalize it.
Man, coaching too, man, it's all about who you know, to be honest. Like them coaching jobs, administration, all that stuff is about who you know.
True, I sure got my job off who I know. Yeah, 'cause I don't know nothing. Ain't know nothing, but it was quite the experience that I'm definitely glad I got into. Definitely,
Yeah, you have more better days teaching than not.
yeah,
Every day ain't gonna be all skittles and rainbows though, but
not teaching.
I'd
Nah,
say, and you
definitely not.
know that them you'll have them 3, 4, 5 kids that you get to touch, you get to change their lives, that make it all worth it. And it be the kids you never expect to. So I would say them kids that you can get to do the right thing, and that you can get to change, and they'll let you know, like, man, especially doing ISS. It was kids that my first year, they just they would be just demons for the hell of it. But I mean, you stay consistent with them and stuff, and them exact same kids really become some of your best students. They just want to know. They just want to know that you love them. I told them today, one of the quotes that I heard as a kid: "Don't care how much you know until they know how much you care." So if kids know you love them and know you care about them, man, they'll do anything for you.
The funniest thing that I found with this generation is that they crave consistency, even if they don't know how to voice it.
Yep.
They whether it's negative or positive, you hope that you can lean them towards a positive way. They feed off of consistency, and if you can provide it for them, hey, especially if they know that you can, you there. That's that's
Mhm.
that's all they need.
Man, you show them you love them and you care. You don't want half of the battle.
Facts, facts.
Well, Josh, you got anything else you want to run through?
I said I wasn't gonna kill him too bad. I said we don't pop the good information out of him for real.
Oh yeah.
It was a good old first round pick.
Oh yeah. Hey, look, get the Roger Goodell hug.
What's up? Congratulations, man. That's crazy.
But man, I definitely appreciate y'all having me on, shedding a little insight into the coaching world.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, man. Too many
Appreciate it as
people,
well,
too
man.
many
Thank you
people
for
don't like
coming
to
on
bust their opinions on these type of topics.
Yeah, man.
yeah, that's true. Most people don't. But the thing is, like the insight you give is going to help a parent who catches out, or a student who's looking to probably get into coaching later on, or even just the work ethic it takes to actually understand the game. Like everybody's going. I think people who when they watch it, they're going to be like, all right, so one as a parent, I can't be too hard on the coach. because he got a lot more going on than I'm not catching. Also, maybe I need to go check up on my kid because I don't know what my kid is doing. Right, and then you got a student who may be like, these coaches do want me to go D1, or they want me to go to college. Period. I got to start taking this a little bit serious the way I need to, you know. So I think everybody benefits. And again, that kid who wants to be a coach, he understand I need to learn the X's and O's a little bit more than just going on NCAA and jumping on the game and trying to learn through that. So I think
You
everybody benefits from this.
you got that bit, Martes?
I did not.
Ah,
I
Oh
still ain't
man,
got it.
I'm so I fell on the sword. I jumped out and paid $100 for the week early. I did. I
I'm
did.
I'm gonna wait till the hype calm down a little bit.
Oh,
You know, you got everybody on it right now. I'm gonna wait till they calm down.
oh,
bro, they
man. I
got
saw
500 mil in 2 weeks.
no. Yeah, 500 million 2 weeks. They got 2.2 million in I think in 3 days. Uh, and that's before the game technically officially dropped. Yeah. They've been rolling. I saw a video. I don't know if I sent it to you, Josh, or not. It was a kid playing a grown dude on stream, and he said, "You bet." The kid's talking to the dude like, "I bet you think I watch your stream. Pick, but I don't." And he, and he took off. Then he came back talking about. He said, "Bro," he said, "Man, look, you predictable. You predictable. You predictable. Pick, let go. Stop doing it." And he said, then he did another play. He said, he's the wrong play. Pick. I'm like, man, his defense is crazy. Then when he was on offense, he killed him again. He said, I bet you thinking I'm throwing to the flat, but you missing the guy on the outside. Bombed him. Touchdown. I was like, it's trying to hang up. It's trying to
You
hang
know
up.
the
He can't
sad
even
part
see
is that
nothing.
that kid probably understand coverages to a certain degree, and he
Oh
don't
my.
even know it.
You
Oh
just
yeah.
gonna understand how to play the game. Like
Yeah.
if you look at Madden and NCAA, bro, it ain't really your knowledge. It's understanding the game. Cause
Yeah.
bro, when I
Yeah,
play my little brother, like I know where he be lined up in. I know what I'm calling. And this nigga will run the exact same play and be beating me. And I'll be hot. I'm like, bro, realistically, that ain't gonna happen like that. But he understand the game because he's sitting there and play it all day. And he understand what player to move well. He understand who's faster than
hmm
who. So them jokers that play it, they just know the hacks of these games. Don't know nothing about football, but they'll beat the
crazy
brakes off
part is
somebody.
we used to know that because you used to know if I got this team, I know who I'm finna play. I know who you got on that defense. And they ain't got that.
I
Hey,
know this play
can
right
you
here is
imagine if they had
unstoppable.
names on their jerseys like they do now? The boy
Yeah, yeah.
would have been. Hey, look, where Julio at? Oh,
Man, they should have revamped this one like they did. What was the last one? 15,
14.
14, yeah.
14. Yeah, they only thing I've been hearing that I don't like is how they did Road to Glory. Like you gotta go through the high school first. Like that what made Road to Glory.
Yeah, you can't even you can't change numbers. You can't do a lot of stuff. I'm like, yo, y'all gonna update that? Like I can't even. I recruited this kid. I got a guard with number 15. I can't change him. I'm like, come on now, guard 15. I get at somebody else. I know I have a receiver right now. He got 46.
Hey, just
Can't
hey,
even.
just throw the hey,
It's ugly.
just move your tackle to the other side, make the formation unbalanced, and your guard gonna be eligible. Throw brother ball.
Hey, 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 let that bitch slide. Let it, throw a flag so quick, quickest flag you ever seen. Game didn't even know you could
but
pull that off.
but I appreciate you for coming on my test on the Sports Hungry
Yes, sir.
First coaches circle, coaches table. We'll figure it out what rolls best. But definitely gave some great knowledge on the what it takes to be a coach and what you guys all go through to even make it work for the families that don't know. Cause again, as a kid when I was playing and whatnot, and again, I stopped early. I wasn't tall. I graduated high school at 5 foot. So my growth spurt came in college. I was happy as I don't know what. But I could from students, from parents, they all say, coach need to do this, coach need to do that. But until you actually on that field, actually getting a chance to coach those kids and go through the run-ins and chasing behind a kid, hoping your assistant's doing what he needs to do, you never know. You never know what's underneath the hood. You never know
Yeah.
how hard it is to even come up with these concepts. So I definitely appreciate
I
that.
Yes, sir,
definitely
indeed.
appreciate y'all having me.